I reached over to grab these. I have all 4 of them sitting here, and one fell on the ground. I was like, oh no, and then I noticed it was Jaws 3, and I was like, oh good, fuck that Blu-ray, piece of shit. Anyway, that's not the quality of the movie. Even I enjoyed Jaws 3, it's silly as fuck, but that Blu-ray's garbage. Okay, so, but this Blu-ray is great. Now, I personally think that we get 2 of the most iconic things in the Jaws franchise in this film. Number 1 is the tagline. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. No tagline in the history of film has been used more often. Like, this tagline has been taken and altered for so many different films through the years. It's fucking crazy. So that tagline is probably, I would say this is the most famous tagline of all time. I can't think of a more iconic one. Another thing is, I honestly think that the most iconic shot in the Jaws franchise to me is in this film, and it is when the fin pops up out of the water and it's chasing after this, this water ski girl. I just think that shot is incredible. And it just, when I think of Jaws, that's one of the first things I think of. I think of that fin popping up and, just skating the water, and that girl just in him chasing after. And I actually looked up, because I was curious on this, on how fast sharks can swim. And they can swim 10 times faster than a human being. Wow, that's fucking unfair. So, yeah, swimming from them is pretty much pointless. But yeah, they can swim up to 35 miles per hour. Wow. So I was watching that. I was like, man, they're going pretty quick. Could he catch up? Absolutely. Especially if it's like a 30-footer like this one. I mean, he could probably really move, which is just terrifying, of course. Even fast, in addition to being just this freaking eating machine. Jump, 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 jump. That's what a shark test sounds like. Although it's not growling like in The Revenge, but we'll get to that. I love that this movie starts with them finding the wreckage for the orca. Such good connectivity. And there's a lot of great connectivity and continuity and whatnot in this movie. They really did go all out with this sequel in a way. I mean, they went and they tried to get Richard Dreyfuss. They couldn't get him back, so they said that he was on, the Aurora or whatever, the ship that he talked about in the first one, which was good. It made sense. It worked with what they had said in the previous film, so I thought that was a smart way to kind of exit him out. Robert Shaw died, so they didn't really have to bring him back. Roy Scheider was supposed to make Deer Hunter, but he couldn't. So they told him he could make this and get out of his contract for the 2 films he had with him, and they brought him back. And they brought back everybody. Now Lorraine, his wife, and they brought back, the mayor, and almost everybody is back here. And they shot it in the same town, and they shot, everything looks the same. It just flows really nicely. Watching 1 and 2 back to back, it's really, really cohesive, and I like that a lot. They just don't ignore a bunch of things and be like, oh, well, now he's a psychic or something, which was the original idea for the movie 7-2. They were going to make a 7-part 2 called 8 with Morgan Freeman, where he was all of a sudden now a psychic. What a fucking dumb idea. They ended up making it into a movie with Anthony Hopkins. Can't remember something. I think I watched it, but yeah, what an insane jumping off. Speaking of jumping off and getting off this fucking point, let's stick to Jaws 2. And I just like seeing the orca because not only does it have that connectivity, it just reminds me of the losses and the sacrifices that were made in the first movie, and just kind of instantly throws that weight on you as the viewer. You remember Quint getting chomped in half. You remember, Hooper and Brody going out there and risking their lives to try to protect the people in town. So, I don't know, I just seeing it instantly brings all that back, and you're in it. You're right there, you're okay, I'm back in Amity. I'm with this film. I'm with the original. Another person that returned here that I'm actually kind of surprised is John Williams came back and scored this movie. I'm pretty surprised on that one, to be honest. But it's a good soundtrack, of course. It's John Williams. And we even get Arnie Cunningham. Cunningham, right? Isn't that what it is? Cunningham? From Christine. And, you know, Jason Mellon from Back to School, if you're a Rodney Dangerfield fan, which you should be, because that movie's fucking hilarious. Why Brody stays on the island is beyond me. Like, I would have moved my fucking kids far from that island a long, long time. Like, right after, as soon as I got up to the shore with Hooper, I would have been like, Hooper, thanks for everything. I'm going to pack, and I'm moving to the middle of the country where there's no ocean for like 1,000 miles around me. But no, he stays on the island. I guess he thought he killed every shark on planet Earth, and clearly he didn't. I really like a lot of the dialogue in this. I think that there's some pretty funny dialogue from characters, and I like the pacing of this. I like that it doesn't focus solely on Brody, because I think just having him brood and have PTSD and whatnot, which he clearly is suffering from in this movie, and I totally understand why, which was why I think he would have moved. But I really like that they kind of focused a lot of attention on the kids in this, and that they put some more weight, like, of the screen time on Mike and Shane. So I thought that was a smart move, and I liked how they cut back and forth. I thought the movie just flowed really nicely. And that chick, man, you know, the girl gets chomped on the skis, and then that girl's in the boat, and she's looking for her friend, and the shark comes up and he attacks her, and man, does this chick fight hard. She's one of the hardest fighters in this series. Like, she grabs gasoline and tries to pour it on him, but it unfortunately hits it and it brings it back on her. And then she just reaches over and grabs a flare gun and, like, shoots it in the face and burns it all up. I mean, it has scars and burns all over its body because of this chick. So, I mean, she ended up blowing herself up, which honestly, I mean, in that scenario, I would rather be blown up than fucking munched on by a shark. So I think she went out. She caught on fire for a second, but she blew up shortly after. I think she had a much more humane death. But yeah, I was like, yeah, girl, get him. Like, pouring gasoline, shooting him with flare guns. This chick was not a quitter. I dug her, even though we only get her for like 2 seconds. I like how Brody's at the table and his wife comes up and she's like, that's your third cigarette, like, since the morning. And she's like, why don't you, basically like, why don't you put that down and just have a donut? It shows you what year this movie was made. Like, put down that cigarette. It's disgustingly unhealthy. Eat this donut. That's, yeah, good advice. I love that one of the barrels from Jaws 1 that they shoot into the shark and he drags under the water is now a potter planter in front of his house. Like, he has it right there at the front door stoop, and it's just holding, they made it into a potter. I thought that was awesome. Just, as I said, little connectivity, and he stops and he stares at it for a second, kind of reflects on what's going on, and I thought that was cool. Tina, the little beauty pageant girl who cuts the ribbon at the beginning and is on the ship when her boyfriend gets eaten. Man, that girl's a fox. And I looked it up. She was 25 fucking years old, so I don't want to hear shit. Poor Brody, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. He has clearly had it. I mean, that scene where he's on the beach and he's up in the shark tower and they're giving him shit. That's what pisses me off about this movie. Like, in that way, just like in universe pisses me off. Like, these fucking assholes. Really? Brody told them all before, listen. And they were like, we're not going to listen. And then they were like, Brody, we're so sorry. Like, okay, we'll hire him and we'll do anything. And he goes out there and he fights for his fucking life. He gets one of his crew killed, the whole thing, blows the shark up. And then he comes back. And he's telling them, like, we got a shark again. And they're like, we don't want to miss out on business again. Like, they didn't learn from their mistakes at all. And he's out there. Now, Brody does go a little overboard. And this is where I think the PTSD comes into play here. He's a little off for sure. He like comes out of the tower and he's running across the sand, full gun in hand, and then just starts blasting into the water, not knowing what the fuck it is. I mean, last time this happened, it was a couple kids that were pretending to be a shark. But he just starts shooting into these school of bluefish, and these are cyanide laced freaking capsule or bullets. Holy shit, Brody. You're firing cyanide into the water and you don't even know what it is for sure. Yeah, he's a little off. I think I would have fired him too. I would have listened to him much before that. I don't think he would have had to go that far because they wouldn't have had anybody in the water, but still, he was, and then he goes and gets hammered, and then early, like, when they come back out, he has just beer cans scattered all around the outside of his door to his truck. So he drove there drunk as fuck, got out, so many beer cans fell out. So that means he was drinking and driving. And then what his reaction is, his wife just kind of rolls his eyes and he just kicks them. So we just get littering and drinking and driving and good message, Chief Brody. Another part that really kind of annoys me is why Brody is so apt on telling everybody else that there's a shark, but he doesn't tell Mike. Like, Mike wants to go out with his friends. Mike was there. Mike almost got killed by the shark over in the channel in the first movie. He was terrified. If he was to say, Mike, listen, I think there's another shark out there like the first one, he would have been like, thank you. I'm going to tell all my friends and none of us are going to go out and none of them would have gotten killed. If they would have listened to him, which I think that with his past and the town's history and all of that, I think that they may have listened and they would have been like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to go out. At least some of them would have probably, especially that girl who was just visiting with the awful haircut. Oh my God, it's so bad. But I feel like at least some of them, and yeah, man, I just feel like Brody was, not giving everyone all the info that they needed, and especially his son. I just don't get that at all. Why he didn't tell him. And another, why do they have a shark tower if they don't use it? Like, Brody's up there and like, what the hell is that idiot doing up there? Oh my God. It's like, why is that there? Like, isn't that the point of it? So I don't get it. Like, why is everyone like, oh my God, what's he doing up there? Like, why isn't always someone up there? Because isn't that the point of the fucking thing? Isn't that why you bought it? So, yeah, I don't understand. They call him an idiot, too. They're like, what's that idiot doing? Arrgh, these fucking people. And he won Man of the Year. That's how, amazing he was. Like, there was a trophy on his fucking desk that says he's the Man of the Year in 1975, the year this happened. So it's clearly for getting rid of the shark problem. And he comes and he says, we have another shark. And they're like, sorry, Man of the Year. Fuck off, you're fired. Bullshit. I tell you. And I also love that they wake up in the morning and Shane must be like, I don't know, what, 7 in this movie? And, Miss Brody is just so nonchalant about Mrs. Brody, about the fact that Mike has left, or before they even get up, and they get up at like 6 a.m. But Shane is also missing. And she just tells the nanny or the maid or whatever this chick is, the babysitter, like, oh, my kid's around here somewhere, like, go find him. She's not going to find her kid and fucking, like, say goodbye to him and check to make sure he's okay. And like, she just wakes up, gets ready for work, full makeup, hair, everything, without checking to see where her fucking small child is. And when she still hasn't seen him by the time she's done with all of that, she tells the maid, the nanny, whatever, like, oh, can you find my kid? He's got to be around here somewhere. Why don't you know where your child is? My God, no wonder they're fucking constantly being attacked by sharks and shit. You nutcase. As a parent, I just can't help but notice stupid things like this. Yeah, I love that he the shark comes and he hits the boat and he pushes it so far away, and then he turns around and then he comes back and just like smashes into the boat, and this kid's like trying to swim past it. It's great. It's a great scene. Like he pushes the guy off the boat and just like pushes the boat away. Like, let's race. Let's race. Let's see if you can get there before me. It just feels like it's like cat and mouse at that point. And I love it. And another scene that makes zero sense to me, and I do not see any reason why. So Brody goes out on the police boat with his wife and Hendrix, his deputy. And they go out and they find, this girl who is in the boat. She's all screwed up because her boyfriend got eaten. And he calls over this like yacht or this big ship that's coming out, and he's like, they're gonna take you back in. I'm going to go look for my kids. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, Hendrix clearly like states, period, because Brody doesn't like the water and he doesn't go in it. He's like, you're doing that all wrong. Like, go up and take this off and whatever. And to the point where they even pull off of the harbor and the thing's still tied on because they didn't even properly release. They were in such a rush and Brody really didn't know what he was doing. And so he doesn't even understand north and south and all this shit. Like, he's telling him like where this is, and he's like, don't give me that, just point. And it's like, point on the water? Do you know how fast you can lose your bearings on the water by just being like pointing to a direction? Your boat doesn't just go straight like that. Like, it can be, it's so silly. Why didn't he take Hendrix with him? That boat was coming to pick up the girls. He could have taken, and then he could have taken the dude who actually knew how to fucking, sail this ship or point this ship in the right direction. He knew where they were going. He goes not knowing where to go and not knowing really how to do it to get there. I don't understand that decision at all. And then later he gets there to the lighthouse and he doesn't see anything. And he says, I'm all alone out here. No shit, dumbass. So when they called you an idiot earlier in the movie, I'm sitting here defending you, but geez, maybe you are an idiot. I don't understand. You don't tell your son about the shark, and you fucking don't take Hendrix with you, who actually knows what he's doing. I don't understand that move at all. And maybe Roy Scheider, because I know he had a lot of problems on the set with the director, maybe he was looking at that being like, why would my character do that? That's so stupid. I hope that he did. I hope he did, because that's just, ugh. Another part I have to question here heavily is, I'm talking about a movie with a 30-foot shark that takes out a helicopter. So logic is obviously a little wishy-washy here, but the fact that he comes and chomps on the helicopter with his propeller spinning and he turns it completely sideways and this shark's like 30 feet long, somehow that propeller blade does not hit the shark. Like, the shark just knows to submerge right at the right moment and swim off before either side of it hits him. No fucking way. But I love that he pulls down a fucking helicopter. They went above and beyond in this. That girl that saved Sean, man, she's a hero too. She swims out there. She's the only person who jumps in the water, and Sean owes his fucking life. Sean! I've been calling him Shane this whole time, haven't I? I think I have. Oh shit, I suck. Whatever. I'm just gonna edit it in. You're gonna hear like my mouth isn't gonna move right. I'm just gonna have like ADR work here. I'm just like, Sean. That'd be great. I don't have the time to do that, so whatever. But yeah, she saves Sean, and that's, yeah, just, I don't know, it's just kind of written off. It's like, there's these people in these movies that are total heroes and they don't get any attention. Like, Brody is the hero in this movie. Like, at the end, they're like, oh my God, he killed the shark and he this, and it's like, don't forget about these other people who sacrificed and died here for this kid. And Andy, his buddy with the curly hair, is a really good friend in this movie, and I always like that. And poor Jackie, that chick, man, she is just, they're all of them, of course, but she just has a mental breakdown. She cannot handle it at all, and it's sad to watch. But that girl is the main character in a, I don't exactly know what to call it. It's like a gritty crime street thriller, drama, revenge tale called Angel, where this girl's like a, you know, Catholic school girl by day, call girl by night, trying to avenge a death of somebody. They made 4 of them. She's only in the first one, but that's the lead actress. So anybody seen Angel? It's a cool movie, and she's Angel. And they electrocute the shark this time, which actually, I mean, of the 2 deaths so far, that one's more believable. I mean, the fact that he chomps into an electrical cord, and that I think could work, could happen, as opposed to the other one, which definitely could not happen. So, all right, guys, it is time for bed. I will try to get Jaws 3 done tomorrow. All right, good night.